But I also like it because you can just lay this down, and then this board slides out like this. I've got a little ledge there that it drops down on. Slide the mattress forward, make that one stay back, and there you go. I'm 6'2", and there's plenty of room right here for me to stretch out and sleep, even though I haven't done it yet. I have climbed in there and laid down, and there's plenty of room to sleep in there. Still got room for all my stuff. I've got a Blue Eddy power station right here. So if I get a 12-volt fridge, I can run that. I've got a fan here, battery operated fan, which you can actually hang from that hook right there. Open this window and I can get air blowing in through here. And then when I'm tired of having this out, and if I want to put it back, it's really easy. Just move that mattress, pick up this board, trying to do it while I hold the phone, and just slide it underneath the mattresses with two hands. It's actually way easier. But anyway, slide it underneath the mattresses. And then I put this towel right here, put the seat back up, and boom. So this is my 1997 FZJ80. And as I mentioned, I was getting ready. We're doing the Georgia Traverse, which is a trail all the way across North Georgia from South Carolina to Alabama, all dirt or 90% dirt. Goes up into Tennessee a little bit. We're going to do that in October, so I've been getting this ready and was planning to do it with my 40 Rusty, but the reason I did not is because Rusty is great, super reliable. I love him to death. And but man, driving in that thing for more than about 2 hours is tough. It's hard on your back, it's hard on your knees. Like I said, I'm 6'2". My knees are up in my chest, no power steering. So Rusty is great off-road, and he is fun to drive around town. But road trips, not so much fun. So here's the plan. I'm going to cut all the rust, replace quarter panels and rocker panels. I'm going to paint Rusty. He's going to look brand new. I'm going to change the clutch. I'm going to change the tie rod ends. The front end's been rebuilt by a previous owner fairly recently. It doesn't leak. It's in great shape. I replaced some of the bushings on the rear springs. I got new rear spring shackles. Just going to tidy him up, paint the roof, maybe put a headliner in it. Just clean him up really good, cut all the rust out and make him nice and shiny and clean, and then probably going to sell him. And I don't want to do that. I would love to keep all my 40s, all my cruisers, but like my wife said the other day, you don't need 3 Land Cruisers. And that's true, you don't need 3 Land Cruisers, but do I want 3 Land Cruisers? Yes. So here's a little secret. If I sell Rusty, I got a little extra spending money, and maybe I can get something else, like a 60 or another 55, or who knows. But I still got Bell in here. Lights are off in the shop. But the other reason I want to get Rusty finished and sell Rusty is that poor old Bell. I got Bell to the point where she's just drivable. I drive her around the neighborhood some. You know, really good shape. Everything's new. You can watch the videos and see. The only thing left to do is I got to put a windshield in it. I've got to do the top, got to paint the top, and there's a few little rust spots I've got to replace in the side panels. I think the driver's side door has a little rust spot I got to address. Got to recover all the seats, and then Bell will be good to go. And let me tell you, the difference between driving Rusty and Bell is night and day. Now, for one, Rusty's a little heavier because he has his top and doors, so you're talking about probably, I don't know, 600 pounds more weight, which makes a difference. But all the suspension and front end bearings, all that stuff in Bell are brand new. I mean, they got like 100 miles on them, and this thing drives so smooth. and way more power. I think it's because it's 600 pounds lighter. It could be just because, I mean, I've gone through that whole motor and everything's new. So it's a fresh motor. You know, anyways, I'm looking forward to getting the top on Bell and seeing how much peppier and smoother and everything it is when you're comparing apples to apples. Bell is not as tough to drive on the back and the legs. And I will, when I finish, I'm going to do it to Rusty too, replace all the window and door seals, but I'll do that here. That'll make a difference with some of the sound. But anyways, you know, brand new shocks, brand new. I did not replace, it's the original springs, but I think the springs on Bell are a little bit better shape. Just from crawling underneath these things and looking, the springs on Rusty are a little bit wore out. And I would recommend whoever buys it to, you know, get an Old Man Emu lift. Get like a 2-inch lift on this. It'd look great, and it would ride smoother and better. So you're probably wondering, I have not mentioned this 40 here. This is a 1979, which for you who are not FJ guys, you don't know the difference. There's really not a ton of difference between like 65 to 83. There is a little difference. I mean, the gas tank's underneath on a 79 and later disc brakes and 4-speed transmission come in 75. There's vent windows. There's a couple little things, but I mean, for the most part, it's pretty similar. And so what's the story on this one? Well, first of all, you can see it's an aluminum fender and aluminum tub. This is a buddy of mine, and it's a soft top. This is a buddy of mine's who bought it 10 years ago. He drove it for about 2 to 3 years and decided that he was going to park it in his barn. He's got a little farm up in North Georgia, and then it sat for about 6 or 7 years. And I was talking to him one day, and I said, hey, let's go get that thing and get it back on the road. And so we had it towed down here to my house, which is about an hour away. And I checked and made sure it had oil in it. I put a brand new battery in it, and I sprayed a little starter fluid in the carburetor, and it fired up. I mean, instantly. It didn't even hesitate. Of course, it didn't run long because there was no gas and all that, and the fuel lines were all dry rotted. So I dropped the fuel tank, drained it, replaced all the soft fuel lines, filled it up with some fresh gas, adjusted the carb just a little bit, and it runs great. It cranks right up every time. I haven't cranked it up in a week. Watch this. Runs great. So, what's it still doing here? Well, the power steering pump, the power steering box leaked like crazy. So I rebuilt the power steering box. Like I said, I replaced all the soft fuel lines. I addressed a couple spots of surface rust on the cowl here, because the cowl and the hood and these fender aprons are metal, which they're all pretty much rust free, but there was just a little surface rust, a little bit of surface rust on the frame. I addressed that, just encapsulated it or converted it and then painted it. What else did I do? I got to bleed the brakes. Oh, I wrapped he has a header on there. The reason the power steering box was leaking so bad was someone put a header on there and took the heat shield off of the power steering box, which is right next, if you know 40s, it's right next to the box. Let's see if I can get this real quick. You can see down in there, there's the header, and there's the box, and it's right next to it. And so it just cooked it. I don't know how long it was that way, but at least a couple of years while he was driving it. So I wrapped the header in fiberglass, which will insulate it some and help push the heat kind of down and out. I rebuilt the box. It's impossible, almost impossible, to find a power steering heat shield for these things. I'm sure they're out there. They're probably $500, but you can find the non-power steering heat shields for $60, and they're a little bit different. The holes are a little bit different. The box is a little bigger on a power steering one, but with a little bit of finagling, you can make those heat shields work. Or you can just make one from scratch, which I was gonna just make one from scratch, but I found one online for $60, and so I bought it and painted it with high temp paint and all that. And so between the heat shield being on there now and the header wrapped, I think it'll be fine. It won't cook those seals like it did before. And I've driven this thing around the neighborhood 3-4 times for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it's not leaking, which I'm super excited about. I've never rebuilt a power steering box before, and I just followed a YouTube video and took my time, and it worked. So that's a big deal. One, because I enjoyed it, and it's a, you know, it was an accomplishment. But it's really hard to find people to rebuild these things, and they're really hard to find rebuilt. There were not a lot of FJ40s that came with power steering. I don't even think you could get power steering until '79. I think that's maybe the first year you could actually even get a FJ40 with power steering. And that was an option that you had to pay for. So not even every 79 and later came with power steering. So they're pretty rare. A lot of guys get boxes out of like the Middle East. You can't get them out of Australia because they're right-hand drive. So they get them out of the Middle East, they ship them over here, they retrofit them, and you still have to do a little bit of other stuff too. I think maybe the pitman arm, I'm not sure what exactly there, but there's some other stuff. This one was originally a power steering cruiser, and let me show you a trick for you guys who are 40 guys to know. If you look down here and you see the power steering line going across here, then chances are that's a factory one. Most of the guys who retrofit this later don't take the time to run the lines across the front, and I believe they did that. I believe Toyota did that as a way to cool, because it's right there where air is, when you're driving, air is blowing across that tube, that hose line, and it's cooling it. And so your power steering pump is over on the other side. You'll see sometimes the power steering pump is on the left side, not the driver's side, not the passenger side, and they don't have that line that runs across here, and maybe they'll put up a little cooler on it, and you know, those are signs that it didn't originally come with power steering. You can put power steering, that's a 78. So I have Bell, the blue one is 77, the red one is 78, this one's a 79. So I'm not sure you could get a 78 with power steering. Maybe you could, but you can definitely retrofit it. So if I wanted to buy a box, a used box, probably have to pay close to $1,000 for it, and it may need to still be rebuilt, and buy the hoses, and then you still got to buy the pump, the reservoir, all that stuff. You can put power steering on it, and power steering is nice. It's definitely nice, but it's not like absolutely necessary. As long as you're moving, if you're rolling 5 miles or faster, you can steer these things pretty easy. But when you're on a trail and you're trying to do like a back and forth turnaround, it can be tough without power steering. You just got to man up and do it. But that's not an upgrade that I would probably be high on my list. My upgrade that I'd want to do if I upgraded any of my 40s would put a 5-speed in it out of a 60 FJ60. That makes a huge difference, and it makes it much more drivable on the highway. But one last thing before I get out of here, or two things actually. I wanted to just mention that this is an aluminum tub. I said that, and this tub was made by I can't remember. There's the name, Aqualoo, and supposedly that's a really reputable company, and these are solid. I mean, that is heavy duty. It is thick, way thicker than the metal that would come on one of these. And one of the best things about aluminum is you never have to worry about this thing rusting. I mean, the frame and the cowl here could rust, but the body is not going to rust with that aluminum, which is pretty cool. But if you're a Toyota guy and you're a Land Cruiser guy, aluminum is kind of like cheating. And I'm not a fan of aluminum. I'm definitely not a fan of those little wheel wells. I think it makes it look not like a 40 anymore. Sometimes they, you know, I've seen them like on a 43. They could look, they look better because the quarter panels are bigger, or on a Troopy. But on a 40, I'm not a big fan of the wheel wells. And you know, this fender, if you notice, this fender is a little more squared off here as opposed to a traditional 40 that's more rounded. So there's just things about this one that, as a Toyota guy, and I'm not, I mean, I would call myself a Toyota guy, cruiser head and all that, but I'm not like a hardcore, you know, cruiser guy. I do like some mods that guys do, but for me, aluminum, not something that I would be super interested in. If this was my cruiser, and I got it, you know, super cheap or something like that, or somebody gave it to me, I would replace these fenders with some OEM fenders, and I probably would cut that wheel well off, depending on what it looks like. I'd have to look under there and see, because you can't really weld. But definitely I would paint the tub to match. I would paint it this is supposed to be like a desert dune color. It's got a little bit of a green in it. It's not a factory color. I don't know what that came from, but anyways, I would at least paint it, and I would make it look like it was not an aluminum tub. And then this is a great cruiser to just go out in the woods and just enjoy, because with that aluminum tub, you're not going to dent it unless you hit it really hard. You're not going to have to worry about rust. So anyways, it runs great. It's a great cruiser, but not really my taste. So that's an update. You guys have asked for an update. I know this is kind of a long video. I would encourage you to subscribe if you haven't. And that leads to my last point, why I've not really done a lot of videos. There's kind of two reasons. One is, I'll just say the main reason. The main reason is I started this YouTube channel during the pandemic, and it was really a way to kind of find community with other Land Cruiser guys, because I'd get comments and I'd get some emails occasionally from guys just, you know, sharing about their experience with cruisers. And that was really great. But since the pandemic is, you know, 5 years ago now, about 3 years since we've been out of it, we've got a Toyota club here in my local area, and there's about 35 guys. It's called Yota Atlanta. We have a website and a YouTube channel, and a Facebook page, YOTA. That stands for Your Off-Road Toyota Association. And there's about 40 guys, 45 guys, and they're great guys. And we get together once a month to meet up, and then every other month or so, go hit the woods. I went actually just this weekend and took this 80 up to North Georgia and did off-road and hit some trails. And that's really been cool to build that community. And so I just haven't taken the time to communicate with you guys. So I apologize for that. I'll try to do that a little bit more. If you notice, like, the last few videos have been fairly simple, just me talking, not a lot of editing, not a lot of lyrics and text on the screen. No lyrics, because I'm not singing, but no text, and just because it's easier just to make a video and throw it up there. So I know that you guys don't expect all that and don't require me to do all the texts and stuff like that, and just want to know what's going on with these things. So I'll try to do more of that. I also encourage you to check out Yota Atlanta on YouTube. We got some cool videos of stuff in the woods and river crossings and things like that. I'll post a couple of those on this site as well. But the main thing is, I mean, I got this thing to get out, to get in the woods, to hang out with guys, and that's what I've been doing. So thanks for watching.